Thank you. Good morning. Hello, my name is Sam, and I work for you. After that City Year display, I'm feeling pretty loose and funky. I don't know about you. Yeah. Thank you, City Year. Thank you, Dr. Emmett Carson, for spearheading efforts to bolster educational outcomes for our kids and for leading bold initiatives to confront the great need in our valley. And thank you to all the Oberfeld students, the teachers and staff for hosting us here at the Dungeon. Oberfeld has much to be proud of, having produced 2 Super Bowl champions, Olympic gold medalists, and accomplished community leaders, including our Parks Director, Angel Rios, and our Vice Mayor, Rose Herrera. That's how we roll here at Oberfeld. Yet we should really celebrate that under Principal Vito Chiala's leadership, 3/4 of Oberfeld grads, as he mentioned, are now enrolling in college, and that the number of advanced placement students has doubled in 5 years. Give yourselves a round of applause. I also want to thank our MC, Camille Yanis Fontanilla, for your work. Thank you for your work in empowering immigrant families and for your exemplary community leadership. And congratulations, of course, to all of our community and employee honorees for your inspirational service. And a big thanks to those who participated in so many ways and enriched this great event. Thank you to my good friend, Imam Tahir Anwar. Thank you. And thank you to members of the Igbo Catholic Choir. That was fantastic. I'd also like to thank members of the fiercest mayoral staff in human history for putting on today's wonderful event. Thank you. Ahmad Chapman, David Lowe, the whole gang. I'd ask them to stand, but they're all standing right now. So thank you. Most of all, I want to thank my incredible wife, Jessica, for your love and support and patience. She has been a tireless advocate to expand educational opportunity for our kids, and I want to thank her also for laughing at most of my bad jokes. Thank you, honey. I know I've got some members of my family here. I see my dad, Sal, my sister Laura, Tony, and Paul are here. I want to thank them for their support and for modeling lives of integrity for me from a young age. Thank you. My family has also reliably supplied a source of opinions about my performance as mayor. For example, my wife's 5-year-old cousin, Mia, saw me on TV on a newscast and opined that, quote, Sam doesn't really work or anything, he just talks a lot on TV. And so I heard that. So I've learned a few lessons in my first year as mayor. Above all, to listen more, to talk less, and to laugh more. I've learned that when everyone knows that you're the mayor, you cannot escape a supermarket without buying Girl Scout cookies. Yes, so my wife and I have about 68 boxes of Thin Mints in the garage, if you want any. I have seen my colleagues on this council and our city workforce over the past year rise above the acrimony of the past to work collaboratively to achieve great results, reaching resolution on 11 union pay contracts, on pension reform, and unanimously passing a balanced budget. Thank you, members of our city. And the many members of our city workforce inspire me daily with their passion to improve services, even in a time of continued diminished resources. And I've learned that this job would also come with its share of tears. And as we just commemorated, no member of our community will forget the loss of one of our city's brightest lights, Officer Michael Johnson, who heroically gave his life defending our community on that tragic night of March 24th, almost a year ago. I'm grateful that Nikki and Catherine and other members of the family are here joining us today. Thank you. Thank you. While we cannot know the depth of your grief, our hearts are with you, and we will not forget Michael's heroism. A year ago, I committed to you that I'd focus on two goals: on improving public safety and on broadening economic opportunity. So first, to make San Jose safer, we need to restore our depleted police department. And we have much work to do to improve retention and hiring. Fortunately, we've made progress, reaching a settlement of longstanding battles over pension reform with each of our 11 unions to create a more fiscally sustainable set of retirement benefits that will also save our taxpayers $3 billion over the next generation. I want to thank our city employees and union leaders for stepping up to enable the rebuilding of our workforce. Thank you. I also need to thank Jennifer Shembry, who led our incredible negotiating team, City Manager Norberto Duenas, all of those who worked so hard and deprived themselves of sleep for many late nights and weekends to settle 13 separate complex agreements in only 6 months. That was incredible work. So on to the rebuilding. In the weeks ahead, you'll see new initiatives to recruit former SJPD officers, new cadets, and military veterans. Even if we do everything right, though, restoring police staffing will take several years. So we need to focus on ways we can make San Jose safer in the meantime. That's why we're restoring 14 firefighters this year, add the equivalent of an engine company to improve our emergency fire response. And we're doubling the ranks of our community service officers to better address burglaries and other property crimes. We're investing in technology to make our officers more effective, having launched a security camera registry that has already enlisted more than 300 participating residents and businesses. This summer, we will have upgraded computer terminals in every patrol car. We're expanding the use of data analytics to better anticipate hotspots of property crime. But we're also preventing crime in new ways. We launched San Jose Works last summer, a jobs program for hundreds of teenagers, many living in gang-impacted neighborhoods. I want to thank County Supervisor Cindy Chavez for her partnership, and to our visionary And I also want to thank our visionary employers like Home Depot, Jabil, Microsoft, and Target for enabling more than 700 kids to land their first jobs last summer. Throughout the summer, we witnessed extraordinary strength of character in these kids. One teen used his first paycheck to buy groceries for his family. Another young woman started her summer job the day she was released from juvenile hall, but her employer watched her self-confidence grow over the summer, and by the fall, she was hired full-time. This summer, let's give 1,000 kids a path to building a resume rather than a rap sheet. And amid the national controversy over policing and race, San Jose is building community trust with our patrol officers. Our dynamic new police chief, Eddie Garcia, has improved training to de-escalate violent confrontations, has halted the use of chokeholds. We've hired one of the nation's leading minds in police accountability, Walter Katz, to serve as our independent police auditor. And in the months ahead, we'll publicly release data about police detentions and race. And as Councilmember Oshkala and I have advocated, we'll install body-worn cameras on every patrol officer's uniform. Every member of this force will serve a community that appreciates her work, both for ensuring that San Jose continues to have the lowest violent crime rate of any major U.S. city, and for making SJPD America's most trusted department. In addition to safety, I embraced the second challenge, broadening our valley's prosperity. Last year, San Jose boasted among the highest job growth rates of any major metro area in the country. We welcomed titans like Apple and Google. We cut the ribbon on Samsung's new America's headquarters. We announced the arrival of fast-growing companies like Dice and Silver Spring Networks and Splunk. And naturally, like any other mayor, I'd like to take credit for all this good news. And since it's been raining today, I'm also going to take credit for ending the drought. Thank you. Yeah. But the thanks really go to our incredible tech employers. And at the airport, long-standing efforts to recruit international flights have borne fruit, with 4 new destinations: Beijing, Frankfurt, London, and Vancouver, and soon, we hope, Shanghai, supporting hundreds of new jobs. Thank you to our hardworking airport staff, the Silicon Valley Leadership Group, and the San Jose Silicon Valley Chamber of Commerce for your advocacy. This year, we opened the only U.S. Patent and Trademark Office on the West Coast. Thank you to Congresswoman Zoe Lofgren, former Mayor Chuck Reed, and Carl Guardino for making it happen. We also cut the ribbon on a world-class professional soccer stadium for the craziest, most fervent soccer fans in the nation. Thank you, San Jose Earthquakes. And after a quarter century of sharks swimming in San Jose's waters, we've committed to another decade together at the arena. Thank you, Sharks. Meanwhile, we see downtown undergoing a long-awaited transformation. By reducing fees and accelerating permitting, thousands of new apartments and dozens of tech employers have emerged downtown, reshaping our skyline and revitalizing our streetscape. Thank you to the many partners, including Scott Neese at the Downtown Association, Danny Harris at the Knight Foundation, Dr. Lisa Bollendorf at San Jose State University, and many others who are helping to create our vibrant urban center with you. I want to thank all of our partners for making 2015 the biggest year in San Jose's economic history. And I have to give a shout out to our small but mighty economic development team, led by Kim Wallish, Nancy Klein, and the Development Services Harry Freitas, and in my office, Rue Wirakun. This is the only team on the planet that had a better year than the Golden State Warriors. We've got more work to do, though. Above all, we've got to make it easier for small businesses to succeed, and that starts with reducing regulatory burdens and red tape. And thanks to Chamber of Commerce CEO Matt Mayhood for leading a task force to explore creating a process of self-certification for inspections and permit approvals to lessen those burdens. We're also broadening opportunities for minority and women-led small businesses to bid on city projects, thanks to the leadership of Councilmember Chappie Jones. Yet the economy's rising tide means little to thousands of our residents, our community members who have been left gasping for air. We have to do more to get thousands of our homeless residents housed, despite our constrained resources. This year, under the leadership of our housing director, we are rehabilitating 2 deteriorating motels as apartments. We're using a novel construction technique to build 150 unit micro-housing village on city land and doing more than ever before. Thank you, Jackie Morales-Ferrand and your team. We're also engaging dozens of homeless residents through Downtown Streets team to rid our city's gateways of blight, graffiti, and trash in exchange for housing and job training. Thanks to Councilmember Tam Nguyen for pushing to expand their good work to clean up the Monterey Road corridor. Under Councilmember Raul Perales' leadership, we're exploring an innovative project to reduce street homelessness within the downtown, using a combination of housing, on-site supportive services, and integrated outreach on the street. Thank you, Councilmember Perales. And a big thank you to Councilmember Don Rocha for your work on the county's homelessness task force to seek additional solutions. We're going to need all the solutions we can find. Our most compelling moral obligation lies in housing those who have served our nation. If you're a veteran, can I ask you please to stand at this time? Thank you for your service. Now it's our turn. In partnership with Destination Home, the County of Santa Clara, and our veteran community leaders, including Air Force veteran Vice Mayor Rose Herrera, we've made a commitment by our nation's celebration of the 100th anniversary of Veterans Day in 2018. We're going to bring all 700 of our homeless veterans all the way home. A big thanks to Board President Dave Cortese for stepping up and joining forces in this important effort. In the weeks ahead, we'll be convening our faith leaders to engage their congregations in the Housing One Hero campaign, and my special thanks to dozens of faith leaders who have already stepped up. In addition to the homeless, our neighbors include thousands more families whose breadwinners work multiple jobs just to pay rent. And we have to do more to enable their boats to rise with our valley's extraordinary prosperity. Manufacturing jobs provide a promising pathway to the middle class. So last summer, we launched a program to boost tech manufacturing by accelerating permits, waiving fees, and assisting employers with workforce training. More than 50 residents are now getting trained through Work to Future, including David Hovgard, a 52-year-old lithographer who lost his job 2 years ago. After a computerized machine tool training course, David now proudly works for Flextronics as a machine operator. Thank you, Flextronics, and thank you, David, for your faith. Through our Tech Hire partnership with the White House and local companies, we'll enable 1,000 of our young adults to get the digital skills they need to pursue a technology-enabled career in the years ahead. And in April, the Council can provide greater protections for thousands of tenants who are subjected to skyrocketing rents through changes to our city's rent control laws. I'm leading a regional effort with several other mayors to increase the minimum wage for all Santa Clara County residents. My fellow mayors and I plan to bring proposals to our council this fall. And finally, we're engaging the immigrant community in new ways. Building on the efforts of former Vice Mayor Madison Nguyen, we've launched our city's first Office of Immigrant Affairs to create pathways to attain citizenship, expand access to city business opportunities and services, and to prepare for what we hope will soon be administrative relief. Half of our small businesses are also immigrant-led, and so with the advocacy of Councilmember Mon Nguyen, we're adding a Vietnamese-speaking small business ally to our team of Spanish and English speakers. Let's make the American dream more accessible to many of our immigrant entrepreneurs. Indeed, we are a city of immigrants. Almost 40% of our adults come here from a foreign country. That is our past, and it is our present. So too, our future should be guided by the great insight spawned by our collective immigrant experience, that our lives gain meaning not through our own well-being, but through our sacrifice for the benefit of our children and future generations. Of course, Madison Avenue and Hollywood and Wall Street instruct us differently. In an era governed by the tyranny of the urgent, shareholders demand quarterly results. The media fixates on a 24-hour news cycle, and Donald Trump articulates his deepest thoughts in 140-character tweets. All of this can infect our thinking with a myopia, a nearsightedness that satisfies today but betrays our future. This myopia stokes our humanity's consumption of natural resources at unsustainable rates. It perpetuates poverty through underinvestment in education, and it spurs the delusion that we can spend today and allow the next generation to pick up the tab. We can succumb to this myopia and relegate ourselves to lives of narrow self-absorption. Or we can embrace a bolder vision, a more magnanimous spirit, one shared by our immigrant community and by our forebears, to make decisions today for the benefit of future generations. It is this noble commitment that must guide us. It implores us, first, to save, second, to invest, and third, to innovate. So first, we must save. At the very minimum, that requires that we stop spending our children's money for them. Past promises have saddled future generations in our city with billions of dollars of debt. And in November, I will ask you to approve a ballot measure to secure the $3 billion of savings in future pension and retiree medical costs that we were able to reach through negotiations with our employees. Together, we can conclude the most extensive pension reform negotiated in any city in this state. Saving must also become more prominent in our budgeting. A recent city audit reveals that for decades, our city has seriously underfunded its reserves, which can help buffer residents from severe service cuts during recessions, as we saw quite recently. To improve our fiscal resilience, I will propose in my budget message that we bolster our underfunded reserves. Now, in addition to saving, our commitment to the future also compels us to invest. And after years of tightening our belt with pension reform and eliminating costly benefits like sick leave payouts, we can truthfully assure our residents that any new revenues will not merely feed a black hole of debt, but will actually restore services. So, I've proposed a tax measure on this June ballot, and this council will be voting this Tuesday, to provide revenue to restore fire and police staffing and other critical services. We have the opportunity to ensure that we never again see families lose their homes to fire only a few yards away from a browned-out fire station, as we saw last week on Azare Avenue. We also must reverse the decades of deterioration of our roads and basic infrastructure. For every dollar that we decline to spend today in basic street maintenance, we'll spend another $5 in road rehabilitation. So fiscal prudence demands that we not burden our children with our neglect, and we invest now. Speaking of our transportation, we have a choice. We're either going to endure a future of gridlock from the West Valley corridor to East San Jose, or we'll build a transportation system worthy of America's 10th largest city. Next year, BART will open in San Jose's Berryessa neighborhood. Yes. It'll open ahead of schedule. It'll open tens of millions of dollars under budget. Thank you, VTA. Thank you, Nuria Fernandez. Thank you, Carl Guardino. But now we got to keep it going. In November, we must pass a measure to make critical investments in street maintenance, in Caltrain, in freeways, expressways, bikeways, and trails, and finally finish the job of bringing BART all the way to Alum Rock, downtown, and on to Santa Clara. Our most crucial investment, however, is in our children. Through our partnership with the Silicon Valley Community Foundation and the White House, we have launched the My Brother's Keeper initiative to expand educational opportunities to enable more of San Jose's children to rise from poverty to prosperity. Through San Jose Learns, we've just launched high-quality after-school learning programs for over 600 kids in 13 of our highest poverty neighborhoods. With Councilmember Magdalena Carrasco, 5 school districts and partners like the Community Foundation and Innovate Public Schools, we will continue to identify the most promising innovative learning methods and scale them for broader impact. And a special thanks to the Shortino Foundation, who just committed to expand these programs this summer to kids in Franklin McKinley schools. Thank you, Elaine. Last July, we expanded library hours in every neighborhood from 4.5 to 6 days a week. Yes, aided by Councilmember Pierluigi Oliverio's advocacy to better utilize the efforts of our volunteers. Under the leadership of Library Director Jill Bourne, we're now transforming how our libraries serve our kids with innovative early learning programs, coding camps, maker spaces, online classes, and hundreds of science and tech workshops. Our children's health also demands our investment. Overweight youth comprise 36% of San Jose's elementary school students, and they face a life of health risks. So we're going to get them moving again. We're investing in a world-class multi-field community soccer complex with the Earthquakes and a 4-field softball complex right here in East San Jose. And we're going to broaden access to these and other playing fields citywide with expanded joint use agreements with our school districts. And our kids' dental health has also suffered in recent years. But studies show that fluoridated water reduces the incidence of tooth decay by up to 40%. Every major U.S. city in this country has fluoridated water except San Jose. Working with Fred Ferrer at the Health Trust and the Santa Clara Valley Water District, we're going to bring our water into the 21st century for the health of future generations. Of course, we have to make these investments in a time of scarce resources. Funding constraints will remain as our city's burgeoning needs continue to grow. And we cannot afford to do the same things the same way as in the past. We must innovate. Fortunately, we happen to benefit from living in the most limit-defying community on the planet, Silicon Valley. We are empowered to catalyze change globally through our creativity, through our innovative passion, through our inner geek. This transformative inner geek is within each of us. The ability to focus our energies on a problem, to see it differently, and to find innovative solutions. Can we put this power to work to benefit our city, to make our neighborhoods safer, to tackle homelessness, or reduce traffic congestion? In partnership with our city employees, can we make City Hall as innovative as the community we serve? We can and we will. If we unleash our geek, we will transform our city. So, in the months ahead, we're going to launch a series of initiatives to make San Jose the most innovative city in the nation by 2020. We'll make San Jose a global demonstration city by transforming our city to a laboratory and platform for the latest technologies, such as using sensors to make our transportation infrastructure smarter and improving the energy efficiency of our buildings. We'll encourage innovations both sophisticated and simple. For example, we all dread seeing the awful graffiti on our freeway bridges and overpasses. but it takes months to be able to shut down the freeway to be able to get folks up there to clean the graffiti. So in the weeks ahead, we're going to launch a competition among bright students at San Jose State University, Santa Clara University, and hopefully some Oberfell students too. And we're going to enable them to design a mechanical device that will paint over that graffiti immediately. We're also going to make San Jose an inclusive city where all of our residents can participate in the Valley's prosperity and our culture of innovation. And we're working with several private sector partners today to launch high-speed 1 and 2 gigabit internet service, giving access to thousands of families and small businesses at no or reduced cost. That's coming in the year ahead. We're going to make San Jose an engaged city. We're going to implement new tools like Tech Citizen, Next Generation 911, and a neighborhood dashboard to enable you to communicate better with City Hall and to participate more meaningfully in the decisions that affect you, such as participatory budgeting. We're going to make San Jose a digital city to improve city services and accountability. We'll enable online transactions for every ministerial permit, electronic submittal of every building plan, and real-time notification to customers about the status of inspection requests. We're going to open nearly all of the city's data to the public. And with a more robust open data portal, we'll provide greater transparency. And we're also going to leverage the bright minds around us to use that data to create service-enhancing applications. Employing this spirit of innovation, we can make San Jose safer, more sustainable, and smarter. And much work is underway already. The council has already approved investments to upgrade city software platforms. Dozens of city staffers have begun implementing new data tools, and we formed an analytics team. We've created Mayoral Innovation Fellows program to enlist bright students and civic-minded technologists. Councilmember Johnny Camus and city staff have worked to launch a budget data visualization tool for the public. We've actively engaged tech companies, national foundations, and local universities for their expertise and resources. Yes, this is about leveraging our technology, but more importantly, it's about leveraging the power of our people and the power of our ideas. To unleash your geek doesn't require new gadgets or apps. Rather, it requires reimagining our city and ourselves. For example, how can we re-envision our public spaces to transform empty lots to community gardens, reclaim underutilized streets for public parks, or create pop-up opportunities for retail in struggling neighborhoods? We'll explore these ideas together. So join us and unleash your geek with us. So many immigrants and families, like my grandparents, first set foot in San Jose when we were the Valley of Heart's Delight. They fell in love with a city in which people of any ethnicity or income could forge extraordinary lives. They shared a unique optimism, a faith, a passion for our future. It was our heart that defined us. Our city is still defined by our heart. And although our city motto describes us as the capital of Silicon Valley, I think we're more truly the heart of Silicon Valley. There are plenty of opportunities for work. There are plenty of great opportunities for work in Silicon Valley. But our heart isn't necessarily where we work. It's where we play. We pray, we live, we love, we create, we learn. It's where we engage with familiar friends, where we're inspired by new ideas. In the heart of Silicon Valley, we encounter captivating murals in Japantown or East San Jose, or flourishing performing arts at the Mexican Heritage Plaza, or in a Spartan-revived Hammer Theater. In the heart of Silicon Valley, children become filled with wonder at the Tech or the Children's Discovery Museum, or delight in exploring the farm at Emma Prusch Park. We're the heart of Silicon Valley because we open our arms to immigrants, and as we open our hearts to the homeless and those who are left behind. Together, we'll provide a model to the world for civic innovation, but also for civic commitment. With our minds, we'll unleash our geek, but with our hearts, we'll ignite the power of our imaginations to transform our city. And together, we'll reclaim our neighborhoods, re-engage our community, restore the hopes of the struggling, and reimagine our collective future. We'll fall in love with our city again and inspire others to follow our lead. And we'll proudly proclaim, we are San Jose. Thank you.